Good morning, everyone. You have to excuse me. Today I am a little bit hungover. I was at an 80-year birthday party yesterday, and let me just tell you, the old people in Sweden, they party pretty hard. I like to think that they're kind of like dwarves. They just get tougher with age. So we're going to do an easy one today. Today you and I are going to talk about the top 3 programming languages of 2018. So let's get into it. This is, as you may suspect, a very subjective list, but I think that all things considered, and I'd like to think that I have a pretty good feel for the things that are fairly popular and the things that have a lot of promise. So let's start with number 1. Which is the most important language to learn to start off with? Well, it's going to be the same language that has been the most important language since like 5 years, and that is going to be JavaScript. And I know everybody's telling me now, JavaScript it could not possibly be the most important thing, and I'm just going to go there and I'm going to say what I usually say. Just relax. Saying that JavaScript is the most important language to learn is not the same thing as saying that it's the best language in the world, because it's not, but it is the most important one. If you want to do anything in the browser, you need JavaScript. If you want to be able to do basically any type of application development, I'm not like, if you want the most amount of diversity in your language, it's going to be JavaScript. If you want the biggest community in the world, it's going to be JavaScript. If you want the largest amount of packages, most amount of tools, all of that stuff, it's just face it, JavaScript is the most popular programming language in the world. Once again, not saying it's the best one. It has its flaws, but it is definitely the most popular one. And I can tell you, if you're watching this as a junior or a beginner and you're wondering what you're gonna study and learn, trust me, this is the best start for you. If you don't know anything else, you can do any other language. This is going to give you everything you need, and it's going to get you started very quickly. And if you already know some other programming language, you probably already know that if you want to make any type of web page or anything like that, it's going to have to include JavaScript. So even by default, anything else is going to be anything else plus JavaScript. It's the same thing with CSS and HTML. You need to know CSS and HTML in order to do web development, and it's practically the same with JavaScript. You have to know it. It's that easy. So that's number 1. Number 2 is going to be Go for me. So Golang, Google's system level language. And why am I telling you this? Well, I'm saying this because partly because Go is seeing a lot of adoption. 5 years ago, everything was about Node, and Node is still going really, really strong. It was all about microservices, and all that stuff was happening in in Node. But a lot of the big companies like Uber and so forth, who were some of the strongest promoters of adopting microservices architecture and Node, are actually switching over in some scenarios over to Go and trying it out. Really large projects such as Docker and Kubernetes are made in Go. Go has basically this, in my opinion, what's beautiful about Go is virtually the same thing that is beautiful about development in Node. It's a small language, small syntax. It's very easy to get started. It has routing and all that stuff that you need to do both APIs or web work or whatever you want. And it's a system level language, which means that it outperforms most other languages and basically has more power than anything else. I'm going to go out and say it. I think that today, it's probably the language that is the closest to being the perfect language, to being the universal language. Its only downside is really that it can't run in the browser, as far as I know. It even has a very nice IDE now, which it didn't have earlier. There are, of course, things that aren't super nice, like the Go path environmental variable and stuff like that. But these are tiny specs on its basically flawless, a seemingly flawless record. But that's anyway how I feel about it. I'm not just taking this out of nowhere. It's getting a lot of popularity. And honestly, I think it's probably it's a very good bet to look into it, especially if you don't know any other system level language, and you know, if you're not going into JavaScript, that is. It holds a lot of promise, and you can do basically anything in it. I'm very impressed with Go. So in third place is going to be Kotlin, or Swift if you want, but basically Kotlin I would say is probably the stronger, and I'm just hear me out now, I know this is also extremely subjective, but Kotlin is getting really popular, especially for Android, and since it's interchangeable with Java, and it has, like, it's still early stage for Kotlin native and these other projects, it has a lot of things going for it right now, and I'm very curious place out. It's even breaking ground, it's trying to break ground in computer science and machine learning and stuff like that, because trust me, machine learning is probably, if this was a top 4 list or top 5 list, Python would be coming up next, because it has so much support and so great libraries for machine learning, and machine learning may not be the most important thing today, but it's getting important really quickly. It's the top thing on my things to study list. Anything that has to do with machine learning. I have a few projects coming up where I'm actually working as much as I can with machine learning. It is looking to be one of the most important things to know in the next 10 years at least, but we'll see. But Kotlin is breaking ground there as well, and there's a lot of innovation going around it, and I'm very excited about it. And the reason why I say it's kind of like, it's a little bit better than learning Swift. It's like, if you want to do mobile development for iOS, you should be learning Swift. And of course it's Kotlin for, well, Java works as well, but Kotlin for Android. It's basically mobile development, but Kotlin does have platform independency virtually. You can run it on any platform. You don't have that with Swift right now. It might come someday, but I don't, like, Swift is maybe losing a little bit of momentum, and Kotlin is just gaining and gaining. So hopefully, yeah, I'm really excited about Kotlin. I have to admit, I'm a little bit biased. So that's probably my list. If you want to learn 3 languages 2018, have a look at JavaScript first if you don't know it, Go if you don't know it, and Kotlin if you don't know it. These languages are looking really promising, and they are getting popular, or they're getting popular very quickly. Hope you have a great day.